this week's Hometown Hero, we head to Howard, where a 98-year-old World War II veteran is reflecting on a Thanksgiving he'll never forget. Local 5's Daniel Schuster spoke with Bob Charles, who still remembers the moment he was reunited with his brother half a world away.
With it being the holidays, we're sharing a story of family, service, and a miracle-like reunion in the final days of World War II. At 98 years old, Bob Charles of Howard still remembers every detail of his most meaningful Thanksgiving. A story he's now sharing from his home at New Perspective. When the United States entered World War II, the Charles family of 7 saw their lives change fast. Bob's 2 older brothers were drafted, leaving the youngest boy to help his parents run their farm.
I quit school in the 8th grade because my 2 brothers were drafted. And trying to run a farm at 12 years old, you can't do it.
But the more his brothers served, the more Bob wanted to join them.
So there was an article that came out that if your dad signed, you can go in at 17. So I said to my dad, let's get rid of the farm, and then you can sign for me, and I'll go in the service.
Bob became a motor machinist made aboard the USS LST-42, responsible for keeping the ship's engines running around the clock.
We were in charge of keeping all the big engines running aboard the ship. The auxiliary engines to keep the power on the ship, we had to keep them running 24 hours a day.
By the fall of 1945, his ship was recommissioned as a hospital ship and anchored off of Okinawa. After 6 months at sea, Thanksgiving Day was shaping up to be just another shift in the engine room.
I was in the harbor at Okinawa on Thanksgiving Day. I was down in the engine room working. So I thought it was just a typical Thanksgiving.
Then, a call came to the main deck.
Oh, well, I got a notice to come up to the main deck, which I did. And the first thing I saw is my brother that I hadn't seen in 3.5 years. We hugged and cried, I guess.
His brother Buddy had hitchhiked more than 30 miles from his MASH unit just to find him. The two spent the day together, sharing stories, sharing a meal, and soaking in a reunion neither expected.
I'm grateful. I'll never forget it. The rest of my life, my brother's dead now, but no, I'll never forget it.
Nearly 80 years later, that Thanksgiving still means everything.
It means so much now that I met my brother on this Thanksgiving Day. It'll be 80 years that we met.
Buddy had also gotten a break from the K-rations he had been living on.
Turkey and dressing, he had the whole deal with us, and he said it really tastes good. While the war was on, they were eating K-rations that come in a cardboard box. So he was happy.
After the war, Bob came home, built a 33-year career with the Green Bay Police Department, and started a family with his wife Gloria, who's been by his side for 75 years.
She's here at this facility. In fact, for the last 5 years, at 4 o'clock, I go down and bring her a banana down where she's at every day at 4 o'clock since she's been here.
At 98, Bob says life is good, and he's grateful for his journey, including seeing the world as a young man who never finished the 8th grade.
I was really satisfied being a little farm boy that had to quit school in the 8th grade, and I could see so much of the world, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I would redo it again if I had the chance.
And when Thanksgiving arrives this year, he'll think back to a moment over 80 years ago and a half a world away, when 2 brothers found each other again. Bob also shares stories about his time in the Pacific, his work as a Green Bay police officer, and even the day he escorted John F. Kennedy and his wife from the airport. But for him, nothing compares to that Thanksgiving reunion off of the shores of Okinawa. Honoring this week's Hometown Hero, I'm Daniel Schuster for Local 5 News.